Good morning. Do you keep a dream journal? Do you write down your dreams? Well, that is what we are going to talk about today in this writing tutorial. How to turn dreams or nightmares into fiction story inspiration. This is a guide for beginning authors, but I think it would help everybody. If this is something you think you might want to do, is turn a dream or a nightmare into a fiction story. You can do it, so let's figure out how to do it right here. For many writers, dreams and nightmares are more than fleeting fragments of the subconscious. They're fertile ground for storytelling. These often vivid, surreal experiences can spark compelling plots, unique characters, or entirely fictional worlds. So if you're a beginning author, or even intermediate or advanced, and you're wondering how to turn your nocturnal mind wanderings into creative fuel, this is the guide for you. So let's get right into it. First up, keep a dream journal. The first step to using dreams for story inspiration is remembering them. And if you're like most people, you don't remember your dreams. I don't remember mine unless they wake me up. So if you do happen to wake up and you're like, what the hell was I thinking? You can write it down. So keep a notebook or a notes app on your phone next to your bed so that you can type out your dream real quick and then go back to sleep. The goal is to jot down anything you remember as soon as you wake up, even if it's just a fragment. I remember when I was a kid, I used to have a recurring dream about a giant semi pulling up to the house, and it was all full of candy. I have not made a story like that, but I really should. A big semi rolls up with all kinds of, it's chocked full of candy. Like those little candies you used to be able to get out of the jar at the independent pharmacies. If you had an independent pharmacy in your neighborhood, they would usually have jars of candy, and they were individual wrapped candies. And then over time, you'll notice patterns or symbols that you can evolve or develop into story ideas. So, and here's the thing, you shouldn't worry about if your dreams don't make sense. Fiction often thrives on what feels surreal, mysterious, or emotionally charged. And dreams usually have at least one of those going for them. Number 2, focus on the emotion and imagery. Dreams often defy logic but evoke strong emotions, like fear or awe or sadness or wonder or excitement if you're getting a truck full of candy. These feelings are powerful tools in storytelling. So ask yourself, what emotion did the dream leave me with? Were there any striking images, locations, or moments that I can remember? Use those feelings or visuals as jumping off points. A dream about running through a city of mirrors, for example, might not become a literal story scene, but it could inspire a theme of identity, or maybe deception, or maybe a crazy carnival with like those crazy wavy mirrors. There are lots of horror stories with those mirrors, man. All right, so number 3, identify the core idea. Even the strangest dreams can be boiled down to a core concept. A nightmare about being chased might reflect a fear of confrontation or even guilt, running away from the thing that makes you feel guilty. A dream about flying could suggest a desire for freedom or escape. Do you feel trapped in your job? Do you feel trapped in your personal life? That's a lot about the running dream. So think about that. So extract the core idea and build around it. Ask yourself, what is this dream really about? And could this translate into a character's conflict or motivation? 4. Shape the dream or fragments into a narrative. Dreams often lack structure. To turn one into a story, you'll need to introduce the key elements of fiction: character, conflict, setting, and resolution. So you will need to take your dream or dream fragment and build those things into it. Sort of create an outline or a paragraph or something that better explains what's going on in the dream and gives you the plot, the characters, and the motivation. So, use the dream as a scene, a premise, or a starting situation. For example, if you have a dream fragment, like a shadowy figure stands at the edge of the forest whispering your name, what's going on there? Why is that thing there? Develop that on paper before you begin your story. Of course, it may change rapidly once you actually start, but to give yourself an idea, figure out what that is. So, next, the story idea might be a reclusive teen discovers they're being contacted by a spirit from an ancient cult, leading to a mystery that spans generations. That's sounding pretty cool to me. So don't try to capture every detail of the dream. Focus on the parts that resonate with you, or write down as much as you remember. And 5, don't be afraid to change things. Just because you wrote down what happens in the dream doesn't mean that you can't change it in your story. So your story doesn't have to remain true to the dream. Use it as a seed or an idea or inspiration, kind of like all the writing prompts that I give you. If the writing prompt doesn't work for you, what parts of it do? Use it as inspiration. It doesn't have to be, the idea, but it can spark new ideas within you. Feel free to combine multiple dreams, alter the details, or add logic where none existed. What matters is creating something engaging and emotionally truthful for the reader. Number 6. Now, if you're taking inspiration from a nightmare, do so with care, unless you're writing a horror story. All right, so nightmares are often intense and personal. Writing them into fiction can be cathartic, but be mindful of the emotional impact, both on yourself and your audience. If a nightmare left you shaken, give yourself time before turning it into material. When handled thoughtfully, nightmares can add tension, horror, or psychological depth to a story. But here's the deal. If it bothered you, it will bother your readers. And that's the goal with horror and thrillers. If you have a strong emotional reaction to something, there's a good chance your readers will too. Number 7, you can use dreams within your fiction as well. Your character can have a nightmare or a dream inside your fiction story. So you can incorporate dreams as dreams inside your fiction story. Characters might have symbolic dreams that hint at hidden truths or foreshadow future events. Just be careful not to overuse them or rely on them for major plot resolutions. It was all a dream trope. So try to avoid that one. Most people kind of get irritated with it. Yeah, it can be irritating for your readers if your entire story was a dream and at the end of the book your character wakes up. Unless you do that really, really well, it's not going to go over really, really well. So anyway, folks, that is the tutorial for today. Keep a dream journal. Don't be afraid of writing your dreams down, and don't be afraid of using them for fiction inspiration. They can be the whole story, they can be part of the story, or you can incorporate your dreams into your character's dreams, right? There's a lot of things you can do with your dreams. Anyway, folks, happy writing. Have a fantastic Friday, and I will bring you another tutorial next Friday.